What's going on, YouTube? How's everyone doing today? Me, I'm doing good. I hope all of you are doing good as well. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Today's video is a response to a response to a response. Right? So, Elite made a video about Tommy, kind of discussing his thoughts and views on Tommy and the way he behaves. Then Tommy made a response video to Elite, but couldn't say who he was responding to. He had to just make it vague, like weirdos on the internet, right? Because he's scared, right? He's scared of us little old drama channels. So he's not going to say Elite's name. But we all know who he was responding to because he pretty much went almost point for everything that Elite said in his video. But yeah, Tommy, it's real mysterious as to who you're responding to. But if you watch Tommy's last video, whatever, the one where he's like, it's just 20 minutes of him and his girlfriend sitting at a restaurant in Kansas City, you'll see where Elite kind of got the view that the dude is doing something, right? He's drinking or taking some kind of downer. Maybe he's a Fenty addict, right? He went from meth to Fenty, right? He went from uppers to downers. I don't know. But his behavior is entirely different than the rest of his videos. Then he goes back to his place and he's like trying to show us a brownie, and he looks like a fucking zombie, like, the brownie's like falling off the fork and shit. I'll try to put that clip in here.
Snickerdoodle?
Snickerdoodle first.
Eh? Eh? Okay. Dig in.
What is it made out
of? Sugar cookie with cinnamon, basically. Oh.
Chocolate chip cookies way better than this. Yeah. We've got a brownie.
We do have
Show the people the brownie. Are you going to finish that?
No, I'm not.
So much for my nap. Do I have the milk mustache?
No.
No.
You checked just in case I was lying to you.
No, I had crumbs in the corner of my mouth.
You only brought one shovel.
We're sharing the shovel. Oh, this brownie is going to be 10 times better than that Snickerdoodle. I can tell by the way it feels in my hand. That is nothing but processed sugar greatness. Oh, listen. If anything ever made me want to have diabetes, it's that brownie.
Oh. It's really good. Really good.
But like, he just looks like he's fucked up, right? And then in his response video, he couldn't even keep the days right. In his original video, he's like, it's been 45 days since I've had a beer. And then in his response video, he says, 44 days. You know, well, Mr. fucking nitpick over there, that 1 day difference is significant because it means your story isn't straight. So you can't even keep the story straight on how long it's been since you haven't drank a beer. Probably because you're lying about drinking or doing something else. I don't know what else you might be doing, but probably lied about it. I don't know. And then what was the advice that you gave to Mr. By the Mile? Who cares? Let him think you drink. And then you can't even take your own advice. You gotta try to fucking defend it. Oh, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking. Why would you say that? Well, I thought the advice, Tommy, was to just not give a fuck. Just let him think that. Because it doesn't matter. So you're giving advice to people that you don't even follow? I guess do as I say, not as I do. That's the takeaway that we should have for you. And then you're so upset about commenters who will say things to you, but then also say things about you in other channels. Haven't you been on YouTube a while? Like, you don't know any of this? Like, none of this matters? That's not anything new. That's been a YouTube thing. There are people that will watch me religiously who will watch with glee if someone were to destroy me. Just because they like the drama, right? They have nothing personal against me. They just want to see the drama. So they'll laugh at me getting my shit tore up while they laugh at me tearing up somebody else. It just is what it is. It's not personal, right? It's just, that's YouTube drama. It's always been that way. And again, worrying about what the commenters say. I mean, that's, again, you told Mr. By the Mile, who cares? Let them say what they're going to say. And then you gotta talk about what they're saying. It's just, it's funny. It's funny. And then you talk about statistics, right? Statistically speaking, somebody buying a 2 million mile junk heap is not going to succeed in trucking. People told you that. You didn't want to hear it. You didn't go, oh wow, the statistics are right on that. No. You said, it's a gamble. I'm gambling. I'm taking risks. So you move the goalposts all the fucking time. You like to set goalposts, right? You like to put the goalpost up. But when somebody uses the same goalpost against you, then you shift them again. Right? The statistics matter when you're talking about how much someone makes versus how much Mr. By the Mile makes. But that same statistic, not the same statistic, but the same usage of statistics when applied to you and your Volvo, right? All of a sudden, well, the statistics don't matter. I'm taking a risk. So, just more fucking shifting of the goalposts from Tommy. And then you say that the people that critique you are weird, while your whole channel was started on critiquing people. Just more hypocrisy. And just as a side note, I want to say it's weird that he insulted his own girlfriend in the video. I don't know what that was supposed to be. He goes, I'm here with my big forehead girlfriend. Why would you say that to her? Right? Is she watching the drama videos? Does she know that's what people said about her? You know? People have said horrible things about my family on the internet. I don't fucking go back and say it to my wife. I don't be like, guess what Joey said about you, babe? No. She doesn't watch. She doesn't need to know. She doesn't care. I'm not going to go insult her because I think it's funny because she's on camera. I thought that was weird that you did that, but that's just a side note. And then, of course, you go back to your same old gripe, right? Why do you always talk about my past? People always bring up your past. Well, no shit. Your past is important. The present isn't the end-all, be-all, right? If you apply to a job, what do they look at? Your history, right? If you're a sexual predator of some kind, right? I'm not saying it's, a PDF file or just any kind of sexual assault, and you get put on a fucking watch list, right? You could be like, oh well, I was molesting people 15 years ago. Why do I have to be on the watch list? History matters. And the reason your history matters is because you haven't gone anywhere. Are you a meth head bank robber? I mean, definitely not robbing banks. You seem more like a downer now than an upper, so probably not meth, but who knows? Sometimes you are a little manic in your videos. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're on meth, right? Statistically speaking. But we don't need somebody that's found out, 40-something years into their life that robbery and drug use is bad, right? We don't need those lessons. That's already kind of universally known that robbing banks and doing meth is bad, right? Because you said, I need people who have had failures. I need people who have failures in their life so that I know they have experience. School of hard knocks. But again, you're shifting the goalposts, right? When people say they have failures, right? Like if I'm going to take advice from somebody who has failures, I'm going to take advice from somebody who has a successful business and says, hey, I failed the first 2 times trying to set up my business, but here's how I did it the correct way. Don't do this because obviously it led me to failure, but do this because obviously it led me to success, right? That's completely different than your past, right? Nobody's watching your channel going like, wow, he's right. It is bad to rob banks and do meth. I'm glad he had those life experiences because otherwise I wouldn't have known those are bad. What kind of a fucking shit is that? That's why your past matters, Tommy. It's because your past is garbage and your present is only slightly better than your past. Right? Again, I'm not saying you're robbing banks and doing meth, but you're just a guy, right? You just exist. You pay your bills, you go to work, wash, rinse, repeat. You're not doing anything groundbreaking. You're not doing anything life-changing. You're not doing anything the rest of us don't do. You know what I do when I get paid? I pay my bills. You know how I pay my bills? I fucking work. Holy shit, guys, I'm breaking ground over here. That's why your past matters. Your past matters even when it's positive. Right? If you grow up in a millionaire family and then you are a millionaire, people are going to look at your past and be like, well, yeah, you're a millionaire, but you came from a family of millionaires. Even though that's a positive, people are still going to look at it. The past always matters, Tommy. The only reason you care is because your past sucks. People are going to look at everybody's past. Just not all of us have a fucking lifetime of drug use and thievery and scumbaggery. If you look at my past, it's pretty mundane. Right? I've made some mistakes in my life. There's some things that I would caution people not to do or do things differently. Right? But there's really not a lot there for people to criticize, right? So I don't care. You care because there is something there for people to criticize and you don't want to fucking take accountability for it. Yeah, you went to jail, but that's not the same as taking accountability, owning up to your past. You try to dismiss your past so that you can lie about your present. That's why you get upset that people keep bringing it up. But it is 100% relevant, especially when you're trying to give people advice all the time or critique them, right? I'm not going to take criticism from a guy who's only been an adult for, like, what, middle school and high school amount of time, like 6-7 years. And even then, I would argue you're still not an adult, you know? You fuck your way around the country, move around all the time. It's not like you've settled down, got a family or a career, right? It's like, yeah, you're driving a truck, but it's like I wouldn't say it's stable. You know, you were been an owner operator twice. Now you're a company guy again, potentially a lease operator. You know, you're all over the place. You're not stable. You're not successful. You're not groundbreaking on YouTube. So when people bring up your past, it's 100% relevant. If you were super successful with that same past, that would be pretty fucking impressive. Hey guys, I own a fleet of trucks. I'm super successful, and I own a home, and I got a great family, and my life is different. And look at how hard I had to. Look how hard it was because of my shitty past. You could do it too, right? Like that would be inspirational. But no, you spent your time in jail, got out of jail, and you just pay your bills now. You're not any different from the rest of us, but you're trying to give advice and criticize people. That's why people bring up your past. I know a guy whose past is very similar to yours. He's older. He's about to be 60. But, you know, he got into meth at a young age. He had an unstable childhood. He's kind of all over the place. He was... He didn't rob banks, but he was breaking into casinos and robbing casinos all over Nevada and Southern California, Arizona, places like that. You know, got busted, went to jail, right? He was in jail for like 15 years. It was quite a while. When he got out of jail, what did he do? He got a CDL, started driving. Drove for almost 2 decades, right? Now he owns a home outright. No payments, right? It's his. Right? He's married. His kids are adults. And they have decent lives. You know, they had struggles growing up, but he has a good relationship with his children. Him and his wife are happy. He has a home. He has a dedicated job. He doesn't work for a union, but he does something very similar to what Mr. By the Mile does. You know, it's just a back and forth. He makes really good money. He's got a 6-figure job. Coming from prison. What do you have? You have YouTube friends, right? You know Alice from Trucking Together, Malice Jizz. That's a claim to fame. No, that's coming up in the world. Yeah, I spent my whole life being a dirtbag, but now I know somebody from YouTube. Might want to shift those priorities while you're moving those goalposts. Right? And you're pocket watching people that didn't have to rob a bank to pay their bills. Meanwhile, if somebody were to pocket watch you, you'd be upset. Have to make a response video about it. I had to sell my 2 million mile Volvo. You know, I sold it before it blew up. You should have never been in that position. Because statistically, it wasn't going to work from the get-go. But again, you take no accountability. And then you try to shift that criticism into something else. To try to hide the fact that it's legitimate criticism of you and your failures and your poor decisions. You talked about accountability and consequences for Gentry, Just Trucking, even Mr. By the Mile, right? And then somebody that you consider on your level is Augustine Ramos. Augustine Ramos is doing things different. What, he's doing things like you? Right? He sleeps on his girlfriend's couch, or his mom's couch. You sleep on your girlfriend's couch. So you guys are kind of similar, I guess. But I mean, you're you're like one hard corner away from a train wreck, right? You're still on the tracks, kinda, but that train's rocking back and forth. There's sparks coming from the wheels when you go around curves. You're going a little too fast, right? You're seconds from disaster, right? You're right about to derail. That's why everybody's watching, is because they're waiting for the train wreck, and it's gonna happen, right? You're unstable and emotional. You hide your emotions by trying to talk like a robot in your videos and pretend like things don't bother you. But you're emotional and you're unstable, right? And unstable can mean a lot, right? It doesn't mean like, you know, wagging your lips and tweaking and fucking, just tripping out, right? You're unstable in the sense that you can't maintain a path. You're all over the fucking place. You can't live somewhere. You can't just stay with one person. You can't just do one thing. You're constantly jumping, right? Yet you're calling it progress to try to mask it. It's almost like you're stepping down, right? You had a really nice house in Arizona in a decent neighborhood. The woman you were with had your back for a long time, right? Like you're in a good position. Now you're with a stranger, right? Now you're with a stranger who you're dating, and you live in arguably what looks to me to be a smaller house in Kansas City, right? Probably cheaper, but it's almost like you took a step back. It's like you're downgrading. You were an owner-operator with a stable relationship that you'd had for a while, with a nice home and a family. You said it was all bad. You said it was a flex to be a fucking loner and a drifter. But now you're in Kansas City. You're not an owner-operator. You don't have a long-term relationship or a family. You have a arguably worse home, just because statistically, since it's in Kansas City, not the West Coast, it's probably older, more worn out, smaller. So it's like you're going backwards in progress, but you're going to give people advice on how to live their lives. I don't know, man. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. And unlike you, I'll say your name in a video. You play this little game where you respond to what people say, but you won't talk about them, right? We all know, like I said, we all know he was responding to Elite's video. But then he tries to be vague about it. Some guy, one of these weird critiquers, right? As if he doesn't do the exact same shit, right? As if you not saying someone's name is going to prevent anybody from reacting to you. Like, we're still going to talk about you, even if you're afraid to say who you're talking about, right? And if you're trying not to say names so you don't draw attention to their channel, even I'm not even monetized, and I'm getting more views than you, or at least equal views in most cases. So I think maybe, just maybe, this is one of those times where you should actually take that constructive criticism. It might do you some good. Obviously, you don't have life figured out yet, right? You're existing. You're not thriving. There's a difference. Some people are thriving. Right? Since you're talking about who we should all take advice from, you should take advice from people that are thriving. And then you say YouTube is the future. YouTube's been around forever. It's not new. It's not trend setting. It's not groundbreaking. Right? It's arguably worse. In the early days of YouTube, the AdSense paid more. Now the AdSense pays pennies compared to what it used to pay. These guys that are living off of YouTube, right? It's not AdSense, it's sponsorships. Yeah, the AdSense is nice, but it doesn't pay like it used to, right? Like some of these guys are millionaires just because they had ads on their YouTube videos. You can't do that anymore, right? It's watered down because everybody and their mother has a YouTube channel, right? You can't get rich off of AdSense anymore because every 48-year-old man who just got out of prison and got his CDL thinks they're going to be successful on YouTube because they ate a brownie with their girlfriend. Every little 200, 300, view channel out here getting paid pennies has watered down that market. YouTube is the future. YouTube's old. A lot of the more popular streamers aren't even on YouTube. They're on Twitch. They're on Twitch and they put their shit on YouTube as an afterthought. Right? Most of these people that live on the internet, they're multi-platform. They had a stream everywhere. Right? They're Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram, fucking everywhere, right? They got multiple platforms generating revenue, not just YouTube. YouTube is the future. You don't even know what the game is. And the people that are making big bucks on YouTube, they got to spend big bucks on YouTube to make that money. They got a whole crews, whole productions. But anyway, guys, that's what I had. I just wanted to kind of rant about Tommy getting upset at Elite's video, kind of break down some points that he made. But anyway, guys, that's all I had for this one. We'll see you in the next one.